Hello my friends, how are you today? I'm Andreas from Motorfanatics and welcome to a new video. Today we will mainly be unboxing a big pile of boxes. We'll talk down the last remaining nuts and bolts of the rear subframe and the steering rack, and we will try to mount the high-case eliminator kit, which will sit right about here. We had to make a few preparations. First of all, I reconnected the e-brake or the handbrake, depending on where in the world you live in. There's a little nut which needs to be tightened to tighten the whole cable going down, coming right out here, splitting into two, and going to the brake drums. Now you native speakers will say, that's not a brake drum, that's a brake disc. And you are completely right. But I am too. It's actually a brake disc with an integrated drum brake. The drum sits right here. The pads are inside and are only for the e-brake, which is triggered by this cable running from the back into the inside, right there. Yeah, that's the only view I've got for you. And the idea was to pull the e-brake and tighten the main hub lock nut, because this nut needs around about 200 Newton meters, more or less. But unfortunately, those old e-drum brakes are not powerful enough to withstand 200 Newton meters. At least this one, at this moment in time, is not. So that's why we need to get a little bit experimental and stop the axles from turning. For the old torque shebang, we again need our little cheat sheet. Of course, our torque wrench, a few other wrenches, and this magnificent piece of metal, a crowbar. No, we're not hunting for head crabs, but I'm going to show you which reason this crowbar has to be on this table now. It needs to get all the way in here. Maybe if I turn it around, maybe. Here we go. Now it's stuck. Here we go. I already did the other side. Just to find out how I could make this work and don't make a total fool out of myself. I'd say mission half accomplished. And now all the rest. I can leave the car on that height for that. If I was a smart man, I would have thought all this stuff down before putting the rear axle back into the car. It's safe to assume that I'm not a smart man. Here we go. That was easy. Should not have said that. Should not have said that. And that's the other one. Now I have to suffer for opening my mouth. Should have kept it shut. go. Still have to do the subframe itself. We can't tighten the subframe to spec because we would need a 17mm lug nut, which embarrassingly I don't have. Since I've got a little bit of free time on my hand before I leave the workshop, I experimented a little and put on one of the old rims. Since the brake discs were already on, I just had to put on the spacer and the old rims. Of course, these old rims won't be the rims we plan on driving later on, but they give us a little hint how the fenders may line up with the new rims. Those are 8-inch wide rims and 245mm wide tires in 18 inches. We plan to stay with 18 inches, but use 9.5-inch wide rims with 265mm wide tires. I'd suggest we lower the car down on the ground and take a look what happens. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked our content, give it a thumbs up. If you really liked our content, consider subscribing so you don't miss any future videos. We still got a sizable gap here, which is no big deal because the car will still set down. I will take a small break right now. For you, there won't be any break. See you in the next scene. So guys, a few days have passed for me. For you it was just a snap. If you ask me, I think it really looks like the car has settled a slight bit more. Just a tad. But that might be just my imagination. We still need to torque down a few parts on the front and rear axle. For that, I ordered a 17mm nut. Unfortunately, the 17mm nut is hidden somewhere in these packages. We need to unbox all of those. Well, the 17mm nut will probably in one of the smaller packages, but hey, let's unbox all of them. And then we're gonna torque down the last remaining bolts on the axles. The first package even is one we already had open, the new work gloves, because I ruined the old ones, like I said. Let's have a look what's inside here. There might really be somewhere what? A Warhammer figure hidden, because that's another hobby of mine. Oh, but that's most definitely not a Warhammer model. There we go. So now you guys should be able to see a little bit more of the whole shebang. Like I said, I hope there's no Warhammer minis mixed in. For our wiring loom. It's mostly a dust, dirt and debris shield that keeps all the wires together, but short term it can shield up to 150 degrees Celsius. Should be 5 meters. Should be enough for the engine bay, for the smaller looms and stuff. Here we go. Next one, please. Simple duct tape, duct cloth tape, Gorilla tape. Even that stuff needs to be ordered via the internet because you can't go in a normal shop and buy it at the moment. That's ridiculous. Next one, please. Oh. Here we go. Ooh, impact socket set. That sounds good. Here we go. Shenzhen. Yes, everything made in China comes from Shenzhen. That's the front. Here it is, guys. A warranty card. Yes, of course. Another one that's already been opened. Oh. Yes. That's a small flocking kit from, here we are, flocking. Here we go, guys. And that's for our dashboard. That's for applying the glue, which is this one, the adhesive. Will be spread evenly on the whole cleaned dashboard. Then you put the flocks into the bottle, put on this wonderful cap and go to town with it. Can't wait to do that one. But I really want to wait a few days more so that it's at least a little bit warmer. Here we go, you even get a funny small instruction booklet to know what to do, and far more important to know what not to do. And if you're not a brainlet like me, you probably can close everything afterwards and it will still fit and you won't forget anything. Here we go. Oh, come on. I can't even remember what's inside here. But I'm pretty sure that's not a Warhammer miniature. But if it is, I should check my credit balances. Ah, yes. Papers, please. Even the most basic things, like paper towels for your workshop, can't go to the hardware store, so you have to order them online. Unfortunately, we are still waiting for the paint for the brake calipers. They need some kind of special paint which can withstand the heat, and we need additional thinner for that paint to spray it with our paint gun, which will take up to the end of the month, but we can still do what we are here for, and that is torque down the rest of the car, of the axles. And that's what we're going to do now. We adjust it, lock it, take the correct nut, and now here we go, guys, finally. Number one. And number two. That was quick. And now to the steering. If you guys remember, I told you that we couldn't fasten and torque down the crown nuts on the steering rack because the pins of the ball pin would just turn with it. Of course they will turn with it because they're not pressed into it. If we use this thing the other way around as a tensioner, we can just push it in and should be able to tighten it normally. Here we go. Here we go. It worked, guys. Now we only need to get a grip with the torque wrench. Here we go. So the front axle is now officially torqued down with the nuts on the steering being the last ones. But we still got an issue. And that one is on the coilovers, on the front coilovers. And it's very hard to show. Let me try. So you've got this bushing here, which is on this lower part of the coilover, on exactly this one. The same length on both sides. And silly me thought it is supposed to be that way, but it's not. On R33 GTRs and R34 GTTs, it's supposed to be longer on one side than on the other. And not by a mil, more by 3 to 5 mils. So someone must have replaced or shortened this bushing whatsoever. And that's why the lower part of our shock hits part of our upper knuckle assembly, which really sucks. So we either can press the bushing a little bit more sideways into its mound, if you can call it that, or we need to make a shim on our own, which means we maybe need to buy a lathe. Why can't it be easy once? Just once. The high-cast deletion kit is a whole nother topic. One side, without any problems, working like a charm. The other side, not working at all. Well guys, looks like we found the issue. If you guys look right here. The first three parts of the thread pitch are worn down. A few minutes ago it was only the first and the second. That's because I tried screwing this on until I noticed some resistance. But I didn't know what it was, if it was dirt, grime or anything else. No! On the other side, the opposite piece of this one has a longer thread inside than this one. The inside thread on this one just stops, so we can't screw it any further in. Great. Now I have to repair the thread on this one, get a 14mm thread cutter for the other one, and try my best. Long story short, we won't mount the high-cast in this episode. Sorry guys. Well friends, not everything went according to plan. We still have to fight a long fight with the high-cast eliminator kit, maybe even order a different kit if we can't repair the current one. We did not get all the boxes we wanted. We still don't have the paint and the paint thinner for our brake calipers. But I hope you enjoyed at least the few things we unboxed and the few nuts and bolts we really talked down, and we see you next time.